This is an all-in-one PC, the kind you usually find in an office, collecting dust, barely surviving Chrome tabs, and PowerPoint slides. But today, we're doing something completely stupid. We're going to turn this lifeless office machine into the most powerful AIO ever built. Dual power supply, custom cooling, Frankenstein level upgrades. We are tearing it apart, rebuilding it from scratch, just to see how far we can bend the rules of physics and common sense. And when it's done, we are plugging in the full-size GPU to see if corporate potatoes can actually become a gaming monster. Let's push this thing until it's extreme. Do you guys see this? Great War Sugar. Sound pretty Chinese, right? Well, yeah, that's because it actually is. It's a brand from human Great War computers based in China, and they make all kinds of systems, desktop, all-in-one, laptop, you name it. Now, let's take a look. This thing comes with a 24-inch display, and the design is almost bezel-less. Honestly, if I didn't tell you, you'd probably think these were just a regular monitors, not a full PC. On the left side, we got the power buttons and 2 USB ports. Down below is surprisingly well equipped. You get 2 video outputs, 4 more USB ports, a LAN port, and even a headphone jack. Basically, it's got everything you expect from a regular desktop PC. Alright, now let's open this thing up and see what's inside. The teardown actually is super easy. Just remove 2 screws at the buttons, slide the back panel down, and boom, you're looking right at all the internal. First off, we got 2 small speakers on each side. Then, 2 8GB RAM sticks for a total of 16 gigs. They're running a pretty modest 1600 MHz. Next up, there's a 256GB SATA M.2 SSD, and right beside it, a Wi-Fi module. The cooling system? Yeah, it's just a tiny blower fan, the kind you usually find inside a laptop. And surprisingly, it's actually worked kinda, even though the CPU sitting at 95 degrees almost all the time. Alright, that is full tour of internals. Now, let's boot it up and see what CPU this thing is running. Luckily, it's power on right away on the first try. No drama at all. Firings up CPU Z, and turnout, it's rocking an Intel E5 7500T. A low power chip with just 35 watts of TDP, 4-core, 4-threads, and a max boost around 3.3 GHz. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. When did you even get this thing, and how much did it cost? Well, not much, actually. Just about $100, straight from China. You could say this all-in-one PC is basically just a laptop without a keyboard. So, why do people actually buy this thing? Well, it's mostly because the bigger screen and the space-saving design is clean, compact, and still give you that desktop feel. Alright, now let's put out the stock SSD and swap my own drive. We're gonna fire up some games and see what this thing can really do. The first game we are testing is something nice and light, Valorant. I'm running it on low settings at 1080p resolution. Frame rates are decent, it stays within a playable range for a fast-paced shooter like this. At best, it is around 90 FPS, and during gunfights, it can dip to about 50 to 60 FPS. Not crazy high numbers, but the important thing is, it's stable throughout the entire match. Next up, let's move on to something a bit heavier, Counter-Strike 2. I dropped everything down to lower setting and run at HD resolutions, but the results wasn't great. Frame rate hovers around 25 to 30 FPS. Technically playable, but nowhere near smooth. In a fast reaction shooter like this, that kind of lag can really put you at a disadvantage during gunfights. Now, moving on to GTA 5. Still running at HD resolutions, the frame rate is somewhere around 15 to 20 FPS, which absolutely isn't great. But since GTA 5 isn't a super fast-paced game, it's still playable, especially if you're on a tight budget and just want something simple and convenient to mess around with. So, this machine can actually handle some lighter titles like Valorant just fine. But when you step up to something heavier like CS2 or GTA 5, that's when the limits really start to show. And yeah, the frame rate, not exactly what I call playable. But I wasn't about to settle for that. Somehow, I managed to boost its performance by nearly 10 times compared to the original setup. Here's how I did it. Let's go through the entire upgrade progress. First, I had to use an M.2 NVMe to PCIe X16 adapter cable to hook up and dedicate GPU. Unfortunately, the slot only gave us 4 PCIe lanes, so yeah, the bandwidth a bit limits and performance might take a shite hit because of that. But hey, something better than nothing, right? So, let's plug it in and see if the display actually works. And no, nothing on the screen. That's a bummer. So, I grabbed another monitor just to double check, and thankfully, that one work. Look like the built-in display on all-in-one just isn't compatible with the external GPU setup. Kinda sad, because it means we can't use the original screen anymore. But that wasn't the only problem. When I installed a new SSD, the system suddenly hit me with the blue screen of death. Yeah, every PC builder nightmare. Now, the driver itself was fine. It worked perfectly in another system. So, I digging around a bit. I figured it was probably a software conflict or GPU driver issue. I booted into safe mode, managed to get back into Windows, did a quick reset, and boom, it's finally worked again. So yeah, the upgrades were a success. Except now, it's not really an all-in-one anymore. Anyways, let's put out the motherboards and tidy things up a bit. Make it look clean and compact. Even though the CPU is super power efficient, meaning it barely put out any heat, the stock coolers still take up quite a bit as they horizontally. So, I'm swapping it out for a bigger, more powerful air cooler, something that not only keeps terms lower but also make the whole build look a lot cleaner and more compact. First, we need a motherboard stand. Then I secure the power supply with a few screws. Some goes for the motherboard. Just fix it in place. Now, since I don't have a proper GPU dock, mostly because the thing is way too expensive, I had to improve it a bit. And here it is, the final setup after optimizing all the space. It might not the sturdiest build out there, but hey, it's definitely a lot cleaner and more compact than before. For the GPU upgrades, I went with GTX 1660 Super. Let's see how it's performed when paired with its power-efficient GPU. Can it actually handle gaming now? Jumping back to Valorant, the performance boost here is insane. We are now seeing nearly double the FPS compared to before, hitting around 100 frames on average and sometimes even spiking over 200 FPS. During gunfight, it still holds well above the triple-digit mark. You can tell there's a bit of a CPU bottleneck going on. Alright, now moving on to something more graphic heavy, CS2. At HD settings, the FPS has pretty much doubled since the upgrades. And when I crank it up to Full HD, the system still keeps this smooth. Surprisingly, the FPS doesn't drop at all, and in some areas, it actually runs better than I did at lower resolution. Now onto a real challenge for this setup, Fortnite. Running a DX11 mode, the FPS hover around 50 to 60 frames per second. I did notice a few frame drop here and there during the first few minutes of gameplay. When I switched to lower settings, the performance improved quite a bit. FPS jumped by roughly 50 more frames, and the stuttering got noticeably better, not completely gone. What really surprised me was how this low-power CPU still managed to handle Minecraft with shader at Full HD resolutions. Frame rate stay around 60 to 70 FPS, which is honestly impressed for a chip designed to save power. And that's it. I just show you what a $100 all-in-one PC can really do. After the upgrades, the performance turned out way better than I expect. In the best case scenario, I wish it could work with original built-in display, so I don't have to even separate monitors. That would make it perfect. But honestly, the upgrade potential is still pretty limited. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button to help us reach more people. And as always, I will see you in the next one.